I'm an inferior Omega, but I've been dating Logan, a top-tier alpha, for 5 years. After another fight, Logan locked me in the closet. All I did was dye my hair back to black without telling him. I have no idea why he got so furious. I stubbornly refused to admit I was wrong. Logan's face was cold. You can stay in there and think about what you've done. He left in a hurry when he heard his old flame had woken up from a coma. After he was gone, there was an accidental gas leak in the kitchen. I waited helplessly for death in the dark closet. Logan rejected every single one of my calls. A text came through. "Sam, are you kidding me? Call me one more time and we're done." But I was bleeding so much. I was in so much pain. "You're pregnant?" I stared at the report in my hands, stunned. The doctor confirmed it with a smile. "Congratulations. The baby is already 2 months along." My hands trembled as I read it over and over again. I was actually pregnant with Logan's child. A wave of immense joy washed over me. I'm an inferior Omega. My uterus and glands never fully developed. A long time ago, a doctor told me I would never be able to have children. Back then, Logan had comforted me. "It's okay, baby. I don't like kids anyway. They're loud and annoying. Besides, having a baby is exhausting. I don't want you to go through that." I knew he was just saying that to make me feel better. Aside from being a bit of a control freak, Logan was always so good to me. I couldn't wait to share the news with him. I ran out of the hospital, and a cold gust of wind brought me back to my senses. I can't tell him now. Tomorrow is our 5-year anniversary. I'll wait and tell him then. He's going to love this gift. I gently touched my stomach, my heart pounding with excitement. This baby was a miracle. It would probably be the only child I'd ever have. I had to protect him. When I got home, Logan wasn't back from work yet. I happily went into the kitchen to start on dinner. After 5 years together, I knew all of Logan's preferences by heart. I knew every dish he liked, and I was familiar with his every gesture and expression. If he so much as furrowed his brow, I knew exactly what he wanted. I spent 2 hours cooking, and by the time Logan got home, I had a huge spread of food ready. Hearing the key in the lock, I hurried to the entryway to greet him. "You're home." "Yeah." Logan brought a chill in with him from outside. I took his coat and bag. He looked exhausted. He leaned down and pulled me into his arms, resting his chin on my shoulder and nuzzling me affectionately. "Baby, finally done with work. I missed you so much." I hugged him back tightly, gently patting his back. "It must have been a long day. I missed you too." A warmth spread through my chest, and I silently added, "And the baby missed you, too. I'll tell him the good news tomorrow." After a long, warm hug, Logan suddenly pushed me away, his eyes wide with disbelief. "You dyed your hair." I self-consciously touched my hair. "Yeah, I did it today. Does it look good?" The compliment I was expecting never came. Logan's face darkened, his expression changing in an instant. "Sam, why would you dye it black? Have I or have I not told you not to mess with your hair?" I was a little confused. I just felt like it. Now that I was pregnant, I didn't want to dye my hair anymore. After leaving the hospital, I went straight to the salon, had them cut off all the brown parts and just kept the new black growth. "It's just hair. Why are you getting so angry?" That terrifying, controlling side of Logan was coming out again. He always wanted me to have brown, curly hair, wear light-colored clothes, and even made me wear glasses, though my vision is perfect. I don't even like musical instruments, but he hired a teacher for me and forced me to learn piano for 3 years. "Baby, I love watching you play the piano," he'd said. "It's beautiful." And just because he said he liked it, I did it. I believed love required compromise. He was good to me, so I was willing to change for him. But right now, my own temper flared up, and I retorted stubbornly. "Logan, I'm not going to dye my hair anymore. The stylist today even said that black hair suits me better." Years of dyeing had ruined my hair. No matter how much time I spent on it, it still felt like dry straw. Besides, the chemicals are bad for the baby. I didn't want to do it anymore. Logan crossed his arms, his eyes ice cold. "You just have to argue with me, don't you? Sam, why do you always have to ruin my good mood? Just listen to me. Go dye it back tomorrow, and I won't be angry anymore." That stormy look on his face was a sign he was about to lose it. I knew I shouldn't push back right now, but for some reason the words just tumbled out. I won't. I like it black. Why do you always force me to do things I don't like? Logan, I've given in so many times, but not this time. I kept my hair brown for him for 5 years. I wanted to have a hair color that I liked for a change. And we had a baby to think about. Logan's face was a mask of fury. He clearly hadn't expected me to talk back. You've got a lot of nerve, Sam. Are you deliberately trying to defy me? I lifted my chin. What do you mean, defy you? I just got a haircut. Did I commit some kind of crime? A fight was inevitable. It got more and more heated. In the past, I would have always been the first to back down and apologize. I always felt like I owed him, so I chose to be tolerant. But this time, for some reason, I just couldn't control my temper. In the middle of our argument, a sharp pain shot through my stomach. I immediately calmed down. Logan, let's both just cool off. Can we please talk about this calmly? Logan snorted. No, seems like you're getting a real attitude. Don't you forget who saved you 5 years ago. He was furious now, saying whatever came to mind, no matter how cruel. Sam, if it weren't for me, you would have died at sea. You could have been reunited with your family a lot sooner. Why is it that two people who supposedly love each other always know the most hurtful things to say? Logan knew exactly what would cut me the deepest. He knew my weakest spot, and he twisted the knife right in it. He saved me 5 years ago, and I was always grateful for that. But that was also the anniversary of my parents' death. How could he use that against me? My entire family was lost in that disaster at sea. I was the only one who survived. It was a scar on my heart that had never healed. He had just casually thrown something I couldn't even bear to think about in my face, using it as a weapon to hurt me. I couldn't stop myself. I slapped him. Logan, how could you say that? You know that after that, I have no family left in this world. A small smirk played on Logan's lips. The red mark of my hand quickly appeared on his pale cheek. You actually hit me? His tone held a hint of barely perceptible hurt. In 5 years together, we had never gotten physical. Logan had a bad temper and was easily angered, but no matter how mad he got, it never went beyond shouting. Soon, the look in Logan's eyes turned predatory, like a wild beast. I couldn't help but shiver. Without a word, Logan grabbed me and dragged me toward the bedroom. As a top-tier alpha, he's always been incredibly strong. I was helpless, like a chick being dragged along. But I never imagined he would shove me into the bedroom closet. The closet wasn't big, barely enough for an adult to fit. I curled up uncomfortably inside. Logan, what are you doing? Let me out. He quickly shut the door and locked it. Sam, who the hell do you think you are? Daring to hit me? You've really crossed a line. Not even my own parents have ever hit me like that. You just stay in there and reflect. When you decide to behave, I'll let you out. Hearing that, I was furious. He was the one who said something so cruel, which made me hit him in the first place. At first, I was stubborn, refusing to give in. But as time ticked by in the pitch-black closet, my stomach started to hurt badly. I had to swallow my pride and admit I was wrong.
I'm sorry, Logan.
I was wrong. I'll listen to you from now on. Can you please let me out? My stomach really hurts. Can you please take a look? I heard Logan's footsteps approaching the closet. Just as he was about to unlock the door, his phone rang. What? Elliot's awake? Okay, I'm on my way. Hearing that, I panicked. Logan, let me out first. I screamed for him, but Logan didn't respond. His footsteps grew fainter and fainter until the house fell into a dead silence. Logan had actually left me. He just abandoned me. For someone who just woke up from a coma. But I was carrying his child. Logan, let me out. Logan, please, I know I was wrong. I yelled in the closet for a long time, but no one answered. Logan didn't like having other people in the house. The housekeeper he'd hired only came at specific times. The rest of the time, I did the cleaning. After he left, the room was terrifyingly quiet. I could even hear my own heart pounding faster and faster in my chest. I started to get scared. Thankfully, my phone was still in my pocket. I quickly pulled it out and called Logan. He hung up. I called again and again, and each time he rejected the call instantly. As I watched my phone battery drop to 5%, despair washed over me. Why? Didn't Logan say he loved me more than anything? How could he do this to me? As tears streamed down my face, a text from Logan came through. Sam, are you kidding me? Call me one more time and we're done. This is just a small lesson for you. You've been getting way too out of line lately. I quickly replied, I know I was wrong. Can you please just let me out? I'm pregnant, and my stomach really hurts. Please save me and the baby. Logan replied almost immediately, an inferior Omega like you? How could you possibly be pregnant? Now you're lying too. You can just stay in there. I immediately started typing, I really am pregnant. The baby is 2 months old. I just found out today, but as I was typing, my phone died. That message never sent. I waited in the closet for a long time. Logan never came back. It was dark and stuffy. I started having trouble breathing. My legs were numb, and a searing pain shot through my stomach. I gently rubbed my belly, but it didn't ease the pain. A strange smell filled the air. I sniffed carefully. Oh no, it was gas. When I was cooking earlier, I must have forgotten to turn off the stove. I still had ribs simmering. The smell of gas in the house grew stronger. My head started to feel dizzy and heavy. My heart felt strange, and waves of nausea washed over me. I felt like I was going to throw up. A lot of blood was flowing from between my legs. The thick smell of blood mixed with the gas in the closet. Gradually, my consciousness began to fade and blur. I remembered the Logan from 5 years ago, how he held me gently and said, Sam, from now on, I'm your family. Don't be sad. I'll love you in their place and be good to you for the rest of your life. He'd remember my birthday and set up a beautiful fireworks show for me. In the winter, he'd pick me up from work every day with a bouquet of flowers. He'd look at me with those ardent, sincere eyes, kiss me gently, and tell me he'd love me forever. But listening to them reminisce in the hospital room, I finally understood that all those moments that had moved me so deeply were just practice runs for someone else. Logan was experimenting on me, living out the future he had once imagined with Elliot. In the last second before I lost consciousness, I touched my stomach. My baby was only 2 months old. Baby, I'm so sorry. In a single day, I had you, and then I lost you, and Logan never came back. When I opened my eyes again, my soul had left my body and was floating in the air. I was no longer in that cold, dark closet, but in a warm, bright room. I saw Logan. He was at the hospital, watching over his old flame who had just woken from a coma, staying by his side, gentle and patient, all night long. Seeing the similar face on the hospital bed, my already shattered heart couldn't help but ache all over again. Logan gently wiped the face of the person in the bed. Elliot, you're finally awake. Does anything hurt? Do you know that for the past 5 years, I've been waiting every single day for you to wake up? The man was very weak and pale, but you could still tell he was stunningly beautiful, a gorgeous Omega. Another person in the room stepped forward excitedly. Elliot, you're finally awake. Logan owes you a wedding for this. 5 years, man. Logan waited for you for 5 whole years. The Omega smiled sweetly at Logan, a blush creeping up his cheeks. Okay. In that case, I want a big, traditional wedding. Logan quickly agreed. Of course. Anything you want, Elliot. The 3 of them were laughing and talking, the atmosphere perfectly pleasant. I floated in the air, my heart in pieces on the floor. Elliot. I knew that name. He was Logan's childhood friend who had ended up in a vegetative state after a car accident 5 years ago. But I'd never heard that there was such a moving love story between him and Logan. Logan's friends were all spoiled rich kids who had always looked down on me, an inferior Omega. When we all went out together, they would always make sarcastic comments. Ha, an inferior Omega daring to cling to Logan every day. So shameless. Logan would always scold them with a dark face. Over time, Logan grew more distant from them and stopped taking me out with them as often. I rarely saw them anymore. No wonder they disliked me so much. They knew Logan's real partner was someone else. So Logan had waited faithfully for him for 5 years and was going to marry him. What did that make me? Was his love for me over the past 5 years all an act? I drifted closer, looking carefully at this Omega, and only then did I realize that our eyes and brows were very similar. To be precise, I was the one who looked like him. Elliot was like a dazzling pearl, so much more beautiful than a flawed product like me. It was only then that I understood. All along, I had been nothing but a pathetic substitute. Now Elliot was awake. It was time for this cheap imitation to be taken offline. Logan watched over Elliot all night, and I watched from the side all night. When morning came, he finally remembered there was someone else at home. He picked up his phone and called his assistant. He told the assistant to go to the house and let me out. Locking him up for a night will teach him a lesson. Otherwise, he'll think he can walk all over me. He actually dared to hit me. Half an hour later, the assistant called back in a panic. "Mr. Hayes, about Sam." Logan frowned. "What about him? Is he throwing another tantrum?" The assistant stammered, "Mr. Hayes, you should probably come see for yourself. It's a little complicated." Annoyed, Logan drove home. When he arrived, he saw a crowd of people gathered around the front door, along with several police officers. Confused, he walked into the house. He was hit by a sharp, foul smell. Walking into the bedroom, he saw the floor covered in blood, flowing out from the closet. The cracks in the floorboards were stained red, but the closet was empty. Logan panicked, grabbing his assistant. "Where's Sam? What happened to him? Where did all this blood come from? Is this some kind of trick because he's mad at me?" Before the assistant could speak, Logan's mind flashed back to the text from last night. The message where I told him I was pregnant, that we were having a baby. An intense, inexplicable sense of dread washed over him. The assistant said quietly, "Mr. Hayes, I'm so sorry for your loss. Sam was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. They couldn't save him." Logan immediately rushed to the hospital. His hands were shaking so much on the steering wheel that he almost got into an accident, forcing the assistant to take over driving. I followed silently behind them. A bitter taste filled my mouth. "You're too late, Logan. While you were with someone else, our baby and I were waiting in agony for death." For a moment, I couldn't tell if I felt more hatred for Logan or more disappointment. Logan's face was a stiff, emotionless mask. The 15-minute drive felt like an eternity to him. When they arrived at the hospital, Logan could no longer control his trembling hands. The doctor looked at him with a grim expression. "You're Sam's partner? I'm very sorry, but we couldn't save him or the child. You can come identify the body now." Logan repeated in disbelief. "Child? He was really pregnant?" "Yes," the doctor replied. "He was 2 months along. It's just a shame. The adult suffered from gas poisoning for too long, and the baby was still very small. The pregnancy was unstable and couldn't be saved. Miscarriages are very common at this stage." Logan wasn't listening anymore, so I hadn't been lying, and he had personally snuffed out his own child's life. Logan stood before my body for a long time, but he didn't dare lift the white sheet. He leaned down, his voice trembling. "Why didn't you tell me sooner that you were pregnant? If I had known, I never would have treated you like that. I'm sorry. You were always so stubborn. I just wanted to teach you a little lesson. I never meant for it to end like this." Finally, Logan let out a couple of short, sharp laughs. "But who's to say an inferior Omega is worthy of having my child anyway? If he's dead, he's dead. It's not like you were the one I loved. Elliot's awake now. I'm gonna find Elliot." With that, he turned and strode away. Hearing that, I wanted to lunge at him and choke him, but my hands passed straight through his body. "Oh, I almost forgot. I'm already dead." Yes, Logan had said many times that he didn't like children. When he found out my uterus was underdeveloped and I couldn't have kids, I thought he was just trying to comfort me. Turned out he really didn't care at all. He didn't care about me, and he didn't care about our child. Hearing about my death, he didn't even show a shred of sadness. I couldn't believe that for 5 years, I had loved the wrong person. All those things I was forced to like suddenly made sense. The brown, curly hair was Elliot's usual style. The piano was his favorite instrument. The glasses were because he was nearsighted. Logan had groomed me into a perfect replica of Elliot. And because I loved him, I had willingly gone along with it for 5 years. How pathetic. I lost consciousness again. A long, long time passed. I was awakened by the sound of quiet sobbing. Had I been reincarnated already? I slowly opened my eyes. A stark white ceiling, the air thick with the unpleasant smell of disinfectant. A head of fluffy hair was resting by my bed. When he saw I was awake, he lifted his head. His voice choked with tears. "Sam, when you get better, we'll get a divorce. Okay? Just please don't do anything stupid again." Huh? When I saw his face clearly, I froze. This alpha in front of me was unreasonably beautiful, delicate, almost ethereal features, a high-bridged nose, and full lips with a perfect Cupid's bow. He looked like he'd be very good at kissing. My cheeks grew hot and I gave my head a little shake. "Sam, what are you thinking? I've always been a sucker for a pretty face. I can't help but blush and feel a little flustered around handsome people." The alpha looked at me, his eyes red-rimmed, as if he'd been deeply wronged. He was even more stunning than Logan, but their vibes were completely different. This alpha had an androgynous beauty, and he was looking at me with a submissive, gentle expression. Not like Logan, who was always so arrogant and superior, radiating an intense, oppressive aura. He said softly, "Sam, I know you hate me, but you can't joke around with your own life. Just hang on for 1 more month. After I deal with my grandpa's affairs, we'll get the divorce. Okay?" "What? Divorce? He's my alpha?" A ringing filled my ears as unfamiliar images flooded my mind. It seemed I had transmigrated into the body of an Omega who shared my name. This body's original owner, also named Sam, was an Omega who had been spoiled by his parents his whole life, showered with love. 2 years ago, he married this alpha, Ryan. Ryan adored him. After they married, he was completely devoted, doing everything the original Sam said. But the original Sam was never satisfied. He treated Ryan like a servant and was even planning to cheat on him. My heart sank. He had a husband who loved him this much. But the original Sam had gotten into a car accident on his way to meet his lover. And then I woke up in this body. I don't know why this happened, but I've been given a second chance at life, and I have to cherish it. I'll live a good life for the original Sam and give his body back if he ever returns. Something as major as a divorce was not my decision to make. I just have to stall for this month. I've been talking to Ryan ever since I woke up, and my throat was starting to feel raw. Watching him sit quietly by the bed, I finally couldn't take it anymore and called out to him. "Ryan, could you please pass me that cup of water? I'm a little thirsty." "Thank you." Ryan looked at me as if he'd seen a ghost. I'd almost forgotten. The original Sam had always yelled and ordered him around, never showing him a shred of kindness. When he wanted Ryan to do something, he was used to using a commanding tone. "Ryan, can't you see I'm thirsty? Are you not going to get me a glass of water?" "Ryan, I'm hungry. Go make food." "Ryan, come pick me up." But I wasn't used to talking like that. I could only explain awkwardly, "Don't overthink it. I just had a brush with death." And it made me realize a lot of things. During his stay in the hospital, the lover the original Sam adored hadn't visited once. Instead, it was Ryan who had been taking care of me. It was clear that so-called lover was no good, probably just after the original Sam's money. Only Ryan was completely devoted, his kindness coming from the heart. "Don't worry, I won't treat you like that anymore." Ryan still looked like he couldn't believe it. He turned and pressed the call button for the doctor. After the doctor finished the checkup, Ryan cautiously followed him out. At the door, he whispered, "Doctor, I wanted to ask about the car accident. His brain wasn't injured, was it? I feel like we might need to do a more detailed scan. Otherwise, why would he suddenly be so nice to me and say he's going to be good to me from now on?" Ryan couldn't figure it out. The doctor shot him an exasperated look. "The man injured his leg, he didn't go blind. He's obviously seen how well you've been treating him these past few days. Besides, you're his partner, aren't you? Who else is he going to be nice to?" Ryan sheepishly slunk back into the room. Little did he know, I had overheard their entire conversation. Maybe I should try to act like the original Sam, but I couldn't bring myself to hurt someone as beautiful and kind as Ryan. After thinking for a long time, I decided to just stay quiet. That way, I wouldn't blow my cover, right? If he found out I wasn't the original Sam, I didn't know how I'd face that. After that, I tried to be as quiet as possible whenever Ryan was around. After 2 days of peace, I had to look at Ryan with pleading eyes again. I hadn't showered in 2 days, and I felt like I was starting to smell. But my leg, I really couldn't move. All I could do was ask Ryan for help, my voice small and pathetic. Ryan, could you please hire an Omega caregiver for me? Don't worry, I'll pay for it. Ryan put down the apple he had just finished peeling and frowned. Hire a caregiver for what? Do you think I'm not taking good enough care of you? Or is it that you can't even stand the sight of me anymore? Quickly shook my head. No, that's not it. I said, embarrassed, it would be a little awkward. Ryan continued to arrange the apple slices into a cute shape as he spoke. What's so awkward about it? As long as we're not divorced, I'm your legal partner. It's my duty to take care of you. I decided to just go for it and whispered, I want to take a bath. Ryan fell silent. He hadn't thought of that. Sorry, I'll help you right away. My face was now redder than the apple peel he'd just cut. Thank you. He was so easy to talk to. Ryan looked at me again with that I've seen a ghost expression before heading out the door. A moment later, Ryan returned. He was carrying a basin of water and a clean towel. I looked left and right. Huh? Where was the caregiver I asked for? Where did they go? Ryan let out a small laugh, walked right up to me and waved his hand. Stop looking. I'm the caregiver. It's my fault, I didn't think of this. Don't worry, it won't happen again. You can tell me if you need anything, Sam. Until we're divorced, I'm your alpha. It's my job to do these things for you. I wanted to protest one more time, but it was too late now to make Ryan go out and find a caregiver. Ryan waited patiently for my decision. Sam, I know you hate me, but I promise I won't have any improper thoughts. I'll just help you wash up. Your health is what's important. Please let me help you, okay?
I stammered, oh okay.
And so, I just lay there, completely exposed, while Ryan moved me around. He gently and meticulously wiped my body down with the towel. If I were the original Sam, I would have slapped Ryan's hands away and thrown everything at him. Then I would have screamed at him. Ryan, who the hell do you think you are? You think you're worthy of bathing me? Get out. I don't want to see you. But what Ryan got instead was a person red as an apple, curled up under the covers, who mumbled with a flushed face, Thank you. That was a lot of work. Something seemed different. After Ryan took care of me diligently for 2 weeks, I was finally discharged from the hospital. During my time there, I couldn't do anything. But it wasn't boring at all. Being with Ryan was comfortable, like a breath of fresh air. And he was so respectful. Ryan would tell me stories and jokes, bring me interesting little trinkets, and we'd watch movies together. The days with him were always happy. I rarely even thought about Logan, the person who had caused me so much pain. Ryan, thank you. Ryan shyly turned his head away. I'm secretly happy just getting to take care of you. You don't have to thank me. Even though he was over 6 feet tall with a great muscular build, that face of his was just too beautiful. What are you thinking about? Ryan suddenly leaned in close, and I could feel his warm breath. His flawless, handsome face was magnified right in front of me. I stammered nervously, and nothing. Every time I looked at his face, it took my breath away. It was just that stunning. How could anyone be so good-looking? Why didn't the original Sam like him? Ryan was cheerful, handsome, gentle, considerate, and a great cook. How amazing could his other lover be? In all this time, that so-called lover hadn't visited once or even sent a single text. I couldn't imagine what the original Sam saw in him. After being discharged, Ryan drove me home. He even thoughtfully prepared a wheelchair for me. Even though we were getting a divorce, we still had to live together to prepare for visiting Ryan's grandfather's grave in 2 days. Ryan's grandfather's dying wish was to see the original Sam and Ryan get married, and ideally have a child. But the original Sam never liked Ryan, let alone slept with him. In 2 years of marriage, his stomach had remained flat. Even though he didn't like Ryan, he was very good to his grandfather and went to pay his respects every year. It was only then that I realized 2 years had passed since my death. I had looked up where I used to live. It was very, very far from this city. The world is a big place. The chances of me and that person ever meeting again should be slim to none. But I never expected Ryan's grandfather's grave to be in my old hometown. What a coincidence. After my parents died, Logan and I had brought them back to our hometown to be buried. This was a perfect chance for me to go see them. Unfortunately, it started raining when we went. The cemetery was on a hill, and Ryan carefully pushed my wheelchair up the path. My already somber mood grew heavier with the sudden rain. The drizzle was endless. After paying our respects to Ryan's grandfather, I made up an excuse to send Ryan away and went to my parents' gravesite by myself. But there, I saw the one person I never wanted to see again in my life. I was in a wheelchair, so I quickly lowered my head, hoping he wouldn't recognize me. The cemetery was empty, and the sound of my wheels had already caught his attention. I didn't have time to back away before Logan was right in front of me.
Sam?
Is it really you? I'm not seeing things, am I? You're really alive? I hadn't seen him in 2 years, and Logan had changed a lot. He used to be a dashing, wealthy young man, always full of energy. But now he looked worn down, the lines of time visible on his face. What was Logan doing here? This was a cemetery. He couldn't have buried my body here and come to pay his respects, could he? I hadn't forgotten his words. If he's dead, he's dead. How could an inferior Omega be worthy of carrying my child, let alone come to visit my parents' graves? Logan stared for a moment, then looked at me excitedly. You were lying to me back then, weren't you? You didn't really die. I looked up at him, confused. I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong person. I don't know you. But Logan stubbornly blocked my way with his body. Or rather, he blocked my wheelchair so I couldn't move. My current face wasn't very similar to my old one. The resemblance wasn't even as strong as Elliot's. With that thought, I boldly met his gaze. After a silent standoff, I finally lost my temper. Sir, could you please move? I don't know you. If you don't move, I'm gonna call the police. Logan stared at me for a long time before he finally seemed to accept that I wasn't the person he was looking for. He dejectedly stepped aside. Never mind. How could you be him? I'm sorry. I mistook you for someone else. I quickly wheeled myself away. I was afraid that if I stayed there any longer, I would start to tremble uncontrollably. I used to love him so much, but seeing him now only filled me with rage and bitterness. He killed me, and he killed our baby who was just 2 months old, and he still had the nerve to come to my parents' graves? What's wrong? Who was that guy? Ryan appeared at my side just in time. I wiped away my tears. It's nothing. I just got a little lost, and he mistook me for someone else. Ryan didn't question it. Once everything was done, he took me away. That night, I came down with a high fever. Felt like I was back in that dark, cold closet. I was covered in blood. No matter how much I screamed, no one came to save me. I thought I saw my unborn baby, sweetly calling me daddy, only to vanish the next second. Sam, wake up. Hearing that familiar, gentle voice, my nightmare faded, and I woke up. When I saw it was Ryan, I couldn't help but throw my arms around him and start sobbing. Since my rebirth, I had tried so hard to hold everything in, to not think about the past. But the wounds in my heart could never be erased. Seeing Logan again had just torn them wide open. Ryan gently patted my back, cooing like he was comforting a child. It's okay. I'm here. You can tell me whatever is making you sad. Letting it out will help. I'll do everything I can to fix it for you. I'm fine. It was just a bad dream. Ryan was so good to me, but how could I tell him something as crazy as my soul possessing someone else's body? I just held on to him, trying to absorb some warmth. Thank you, Ryan. I suddenly felt like a despicable thief. Since waking up, I had thanked Ryan so many times. But I was deceiving him. I wasn't the person he loved. I had selfishly taken all the kindness that belonged to someone else. I was sick for 2 days, and Ryan was by my side the entire time, taking care of me. He was usually busy with work, but when it came to me, he did everything himself, even taking 2 days off. It only made me feel more guilty. To thank Ryan, I bought him a gift and went to his office to pick him up after work. But fate loves to play cruel jokes. I didn't find Ryan, but I ran into Logan. He happened to overhear someone call my name. He immediately sniffed me out and came running. "Your name is Sam, too?" I didn't want to deal with him and turned to leave. But my leg hadn't fully healed, and I couldn't walk very fast. Logan caught up to me in a few steps. "The exact same name, but you don't look like him, and yet my heart hurts when I'm near you. Do you remember me? My name is Logan. We met at the cemetery." I said coldly, "Sorry, I'm married. Your behavior is going to give my husband the wrong idea." It was like Logan was deaf, lost in his own world, saying whatever he wanted. "It is you, isn't it? I did some research on you. You have the exact same hobbies, and the way you talk and act is so similar. If you're alive, why didn't you come find me? You're still mad at me, aren't you? If you come back, I'll do anything you want. Let go of me." I just wanted to get away from him. But Logan's grip was strong. He held my hand so tightly I couldn't break free. "Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to get away from my Omega." Thank God Ryan showed up. He pulled me behind him. Only then did Logan let go. I saw a string of red marks on my pale wrist. Is he some kind of rabid dog? His grip was insane. Logan pointed furiously at Ryan and asked me, "Who is he?" Ryan snorted. "I'm his husband. The legal, certified, married kind." Logan was stunned. "You're married? Sam, didn't you love me most of all? How could you marry someone else?" Ryan blocked his view, shielding me with his body. "And why not? I'm handsome. I come from a good family. I have an 8-pack. I'm gentle, considerate, responsible, and a family man. What's wrong with marrying me? At least I'm not some two-timing piece of trash who tramples on other people's feelings." For a second, I suspected Ryan might know something. After he finished, he turned to me with a smile. "Isn't that right, honey? Of course. You're the best." I stood on my toes and kissed Ryan. The smile in Ryan's eyes was about to overflow. He shot a smug grin at Logan. "I guess that proves our relationship, doesn't it, Mr. Caveman?" I couldn't help but let out a little laugh. The way Logan looked right now, he really did look like a caveman. That move successfully drove Logan away. After he left, I immediately apologized to Ryan. "Sorry, I kissed you without asking first." Ryan's ears were bright red. "Well, then I should apologize too. I called you honey without asking. So we're even? Huh? Okay." Ryan helped me and didn't even hold it against me. He was such a good person. Ryan sighed with theatrical regret. "Actually, I don't mind at all. If you really feel bad, you could just kiss me a few more times until I get used to it. And to be fair, I can just call you honey a few more times." I was taken aback. I don't think that's a good idea." Ryan suddenly looked at me, heartbroken. "Sam, do you really hate me?" He looked so dejected, like a puppy with its ears drooping. I had the urge to pat his head, but I resisted. "I don't hate you. You're a very good person." Ryan let out a goofy giggle. "Exactly. You don't hate me, and not hating is liking. So, does that mean you like me now?" Looking at the face so close to mine, I was dazed. This was Ryan, the handsome, gentle Ryan who was so good to me. When I came to my senses, I immediately pulled away. I'm sorry. He was still him, but I wasn't the Sam he liked. I was an intruder who had taken over someone else's body. I shouldn't be doing this. What if one day the original Sam suddenly came back and was awful to Ryan again? What would happen then? It was better to keep the distance we had before. After that, Logan started showing up every day. He constantly sent food and flowers. It became a huge problem. I was afraid to even leave the house. But even when I hid at home, he found a way. He used a bunch of new phone numbers to text and call me. "Sam, I'm sorry, you and that alpha don't really have anything going on, right? Please just answer my call once. Even just one text back would be enough. I really miss you. For the past 2 years, I haven't stopped thinking about you for a second. I regret it. The person I love has always been you." The scene felt so familiar. All I could think was that he deserved it. But while I could tolerate it, Ryan couldn't. He wanted to go downstairs and kill him. So I had to contact Logan myself. "We need to talk." Logan might not have loved me, but his intuition was spot on. He had really recognized me. The moment we met, he tried to get close. I deftly dodged his hands, not wanting to be tainted by even a trace of his pheromones. Ryan had the nose of a bloodhound. He was so sensitive. He'd probably be jealous for days. I knew it was you. Baby, please give me another chance. I've really changed this time. Logan started telling me what happened after I died. The day after I died, Logan went crazy. He sat in front of my body all night. He buried me with my parents and knelt before our graves, bowing his head 3 times. Later, he stabbed himself in the heart with a knife and almost didn't make it. I said, "Oh, that's a real shame. Why didn't he just die?" Do you have any idea how scared and how much pain I was in? What you went through isn't even 1/10 of what I did. Logan's face went pale. He seemed unable to believe I would say something like that to him. "I'm sorry. It was my fault." After a moment of silence, he continued. "Later, I donated all my money to scientific research, specifically to help omegas with defective glands. I've thought about it countless times. If our baby were still alive, he'd be walking by now. He'd be calling me daddy." Hearing that, I couldn't stop myself from slapping him twice. Hard. "You don't have the right to even mention him. Logan, you saved my life once, and I've already paid you back for that. You locked me in the closet and you indirectly killed me. I paid you back with that life. This slap is for our child. He was only 2 months old. Do you know how happy I was then? Took so much for me to get pregnant, and in just 1 day you made me lose him. I will never forgive you." A clear handprint quickly appeared on Logan's cheek, but he had no reaction. He just stared at me blankly. All he could say was, "I'm sorry." Seeing that just made me angrier, and I slapped him again. "This one is for my pathetic 5 years. Someone like you doesn't deserve to be loved. You just play people for fools. Logan, if you have any conscience left, get out of my life. The sight of you makes me sick. Stop harassing me. Okay? I've moved on. I found new happiness, and he's a million times better than you." I didn't give Logan a chance to say anything else. I turned and walked away. His confessions meant nothing to me. The old Sam was already dead. If it wasn't for a twist of fate, Logan wouldn't have even had the chance to say "I'm sorry" to my face. After that, Logan never showed up again. I heard he started taking on all sorts of extreme sports and nearly died, which even made the news. I also heard he knelt in front of a temple for 3 days and 3 nights, praying for someone. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. Now, I just wanted to live a good life with Ryan. Ryan was a very observant person. He could always pick up on my moods quickly. He also noticed that I was quietly distancing myself from him. That night, he invited me to go stargazing. Under the quiet night sky, after he gently sang me a song, he suddenly said, "I know you're not him, but it's okay." I actually knew from the first moment, but I wasn't sure. After all, he would never be so gentle with me, and he would certainly never smile at me like that. I stopped liking him a long time ago. I was only nice to him because my grandfather asked me to. Grandpa told me I had to take good care of him because he saved Grandpa's life once. I grew up with just my grandpa, so I had to repay that debt. On paper, he and I were partners. But it wasn't love. It was more of a responsibility. Sam, ever since I met you, I've learned what real affection is. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. This isn't a multiple choice question. I just want you to know that I'll wait for you, and whatever your answer is, I'll accept it. Ryan knew everything, including my past with Logan. He had known for a long time, but he never said a word. He just quietly pulled me into his embrace. "Sam, you have to look forward. You can't stay trapped in the past." "Thank you, Ryan." Ryan was a good person. I couldn't bear to refuse him. As for the future, we'll see. But for now, I want to choose him.